We're back again with the Compaq Stereo SR1750NX, which is really not much of an SR1750NX anymore, because you remember it's got that Phenom motherboard in it. I had a lot of people write in with some pretty extreme criticism, mostly having to do with my wasting my time using this old GIMP board, and by extension wasting their time. Some people were a little less than friendly about it, we'll put it that way. Others, it was veiled as constructive. But, you know, for one, I didn't force you to watch the video. You did it on your own. For two, it's something to do. Keep something out of the landfill. I mean, you can talk about how green things are all you want, but ultimately things just end up in a landfill anyway. At the end of the day. I'm not going to say they haven't gotten better, but, you know how things are. This thing spent some time sitting out in the shed, about a year, so you can see it's a little worse for wear. Don't know if it still works, but if you remember, I ended up with those two Antex cases. I'm not sitting out anymore because I put them away, but one of them had this board in it, which is basically the same board, M4A785. The other one's an M4A785M, this one's an M4A785TD-M Evo. It's a little bit different. I don't know what all the differences are, but because this one doesn't have problems, and the case that it was in is just basically junk, well, look at that. It's kind of amazing that this motherboard still works, but whatever. I'll hang on to it while it still does. And it works properly. I'm going to pull that other board out, and I'm just going to scrap that other board, because it's pretty useless. I'm going to take the CPU off of it and put it onto this, because it should support it. Shouldn't be an issue there. So, I'll get started by removing the board from the other machine. I think it's even got the same I/O plate. So, this one's kind of busted up. I'm just going to get rid of that, assuming it is the same. Here's a look at the existing board, which I think physically, at least appearance-wise, is in better condition, but it's got those RAM slot problems, so it's pretty much useless. There's the hard drive, 250 gig, so nothing great, but I don't think this board's got IDE on it, where the other one does. The other one's only got 5 SATA ports, where this one's got 6, but ultimately, in a system like this, it's not going to make much of a difference how many SATA ports it's got. So, I'll pull it out, pull the CPU out. I may take the screws off of that cooler bracket, because I think they're less rusted than the ones on the other one. Not that it makes much of a difference, but, you know, we'll pretty it up as best as we can. Okay, here's the new board installed. I've gone ahead and installed everything. Installed the new CPU. Done everything that I need to do. Here's the old one. You can see the old I/O plate. I did have to change it because the new board actually has FireWire and an extra USB port on the back. There's the busted up VGA. I also noticed that this old system is actually a DDR2 system, where the new one's DDR3. So, that was a little interesting. Okay. Let's see what it manages to do. Hello, computer. It's, like, on but not on. That's weird. Okay. So, in fighting with this stupid thing, I've come to realize a couple of things. Number one is the power supply was dead. Kind of. Number two is that the VGA port on the motherboard is also dead. You can wiggle it, and there was a certain point where it would actually still work, but it would stop working. So I've just gone ahead and installed this video card, and that'll be that. The video card actually works. Of course, I pulled the CMOS battery because I thought that was a problem, and it wasn't. So now I'm going to set this thing all back up again. You can see, Phenom 2, X2 545, 3 gigahertz. And the benefit of having that video card is that I get all of my video, or I get all of my RAM used. I'm surprised it's only 4 gigs. It's actually kind of disappointing that it's only 4 gigs. Although I would have thought it'd be more. I think it's supposed to be more, so I'm not sure if it's seeing all the memory or not. I guess I'll have to do some digging. But, well, it is what it is. It's more than what the other one had anyway. Alright. You know, it's immensely tempting to try an overclock on this. Okay. Loading Asus Express Gate. I'll have to see if I can figure out the RAM, because I thought it would have had 8 gigs. Oh, I guess there might not be anything on that hard drive after all. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and run overclocking. Let's just try a 2% overclock for now. GPU overclocking auto, PCIe auto. Let's see what that does. See if it posts after doing that. Yeah, looks like it's still working. At the speed that it was at. Let's see if we can go even further. Let's try a 5%. See what happens. Right, seems to be okay. I've cranked it all the way up to 10%. It's at 3.3 gigahertz now. So, question of course becomes, is it stable at that speed? Kinda doubt it, but we'll let it run mem test, see what happens. So, let's see here. USB flash memory. Test memory. Yeah, it is only 4 gigs, so we got that much. Not sure if it's running at the right speed. Originally this is 1333, I think it's running at like 1466 now. We'll see if it stays stable. If it does, I might just leave it where it is. Be the first, or one of the first, overclocked PCs in my possession. So, I think I'm going to call the video at that, though. There's not much else that's interesting about this. So, there you go. There's your slightly more useful motherboard, I guess. At least one that doesn't have nearly as many problems as the other one did. At least the RAM situation's figured out. So, let me see if I can bump that to 8 gigs. Or I might just leave what's in there now in there, if it's stable. Doesn't really need that much memory, honestly. It's not going to do much. So,